Hi, I'm Donald with Steam Bright Supply, and today I'm going to talk about the Mytee S-300H, which is the heated version, and just try to point out a few things that haven't been on other videos that I've seen. And the first thing, I just took this out of the box and went ahead and removed the vacuum waste tank lid. I wanted to make sure that y'all noticed inside of here there is a little filter media that you can reach in here and pinch with your fingers, and this is to catch lint and debris, and there's a secondary little cage there on the bottom, and you want to make sure that you keep this clean. One of the things that I do like, the factory did also put a deflector shield so that when you have mud and water and dirt coming in, flying in this way, it hits this shield and falls into the tank, as opposed to letting those water droplets get picked up inside of that vacuum inlet. Also, in the bottom of the freshwater tank, there's an acorn strainer. This also needs to be kept clean. That is actually threaded, so it's not something you would pick up on, but you can counterclockwise screw that to remove it if it ever gets really dirty. But whenever you're filling this up, if you're draining this waste tank this way from this drain fitting, and then using the same bucket to refill the machine with hot water from your building, you can actually, there can be sand particles in the bottom of that tank, so you want to make sure you really triple rinse the bucket before you use that water to get in here, because those sand particles could end up in there. You wouldn't necessarily see them in the bucket, so just thoroughly rinse the bucket before you actually go and reuse it again. One other thing that I do like on this machine is they have allowed for quite a bit of cooling. There's cooling vents on the side, also directly on the electromotor, vacuum motor in the bottom to pick up that way, and then they've also put some drain ports in the event you ruptured a hose or develop some kind of leak. This is not going to fill up with water, it's just going to come out these drain holes. On the machine itself, I noticed they eliminated the glow plug. So on some of the other videos that you'll see that they show, they plug it in the wall that you can tell you're on a hot current. That apparently has been eliminated. Maybe they weren't available the month that they do that. Now, on Mytee's warranty, it does say that they reserve the right to change exact specifications without notice based on parts availability. This is a prime example of it. Though you might think you're getting the machine with a glow plug, they reserve the right to not supply you with one, and we certainly just fill the order by part number, and we don't inspect it to see if you have it or not. On the front of the machine, I do also like that the lighted switches have a little water jacket on them to make sure that if you're filling this, you do splash some water on it, that you're protecting these switches a little bit with that splash cover. Inside the quick disconnect, you'll see there's two O-rings in there. These O-rings do have to be lubricated, so usually most people like to use white lithium grease. If you repeatedly snap in your quick disconnect into here and you don't have either the male or the female lubricated, those O-rings will get torn, and it'll develop a drip here, and you'll have to either change the O-rings or change the female to do that. When we open the package, we did also notice it does include a separate bag here with your insulated cuties, which snap over here. That's so that when you're taking this and sliding this back and forward, you don't burn your fingers, because it's a heated machine. One other thing I did want to point out, the heater in this machine does not heat the freshwater tank. It's actually a separate little heater. It holds about probably 20 ounces of water, and when you are heating up the water, it's basically a pass-through heater. It is sensing the temperature of the water. It has two thermostats on it. One is set at 200 degrees, and the other one's set at about 250 to 300 usually. And the way that works is that if the water is below the 200 degrees as it's passing through, it's energizing that 600 watt heating rod. If you set the wand down and you get on your cell phone or talk to a customer and you step away, that parked water, that little 20 ounces of water, whatever's in that tank, will go up to 200 degrees, and then the heater turns itself off. If you pick up the wand and start cleaning again, and the water temperature drops below 200, it's automatically going to turn itself back on. The second thermostat that's on that heating rod is simply a safety that if the first one fails and breaks and it stays heated, it's not going to go to live steam. Anyway, that's some of the different features. And oh, one other thing, you want to make sure this machine, you don't let it freeze. It is not freeze-thaw stable like all your machines. The heating system, if you're not using soft water, will require some form of descaler in it to remove the minerals from the heating chamber. And also on the trigger mechanism, there is a piston inside of the valve that also requires lubricant. So probably about once every 90 days, you're going to want to put some oil either on the male or the female in the quick disconnect and actually remove the piston out of the valve assembly on the trigger, and make sure you lubricate that with white lithium grease. That's the recommended grease for it. These machines, since they are heated, typically they're best used if you, even though it's heated, still put hot water in it, because it's only going to boost it. A lot of times people think, oh, it's going to clean at 200 degrees, and no, it's not. It's actually going to only give you maybe a 10 to 20 degree rise up and above what I pour in here. So if I pour cold water, I might only clean at, who knows, 100 degrees. But if I put hot tap water in here at 120 degrees or 140, yeah, I might get this up to 160 or whatnot. So even though it's a heated machine, still fill it with hot water. The other thing is that all machines typically last longer if you're using them to rinse as opposed to clean. And what I mean by that is pre-spray your cleaner on, maybe with a pump-up sprayer or a battery sprayer or an injection sprayer, and then scrub the areas, get them clean. And what's going to go in this machine is just fresh water. And if you want to add a little bit of a rinse aid, which is an acid side rinsing product, you can put that in the fresh water tank. But if you put cleaner in here and actually just mix the cleaner in hot water, it does cause the heat exchanger in here to shorten the life. It also wears out the trigger mechanism, and the pump will wear out much faster. So keep that in mind. I prefer to pre-spray with everything and use the machine to rinse. Anyway, thanks for watching.